Trump's nomination for a Fox News judge or a Fox News host for judge. And so I'm going to share that with you guys, but let me make sure that I'm spinning around because I want to make sure that, give me a second. I want to make sure that I got the right account. Don't want no commercials playing. All right, y'all. So check it out. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Of the people who are filling out the Trump administration, more of these individuals who Trump is tapping to lead in key posts, especially at U.S. attorneys' offices nationwide. So remember, we brought you the news just yesterday that Trump pulled his original pick to be U.S. Surgeon General, replacing that name with someone else. We brought you that news. And now the same is happening for this key and coveted role there in Washington, the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. So live picture there. We now know that Trump has pulled that name, that original name, Ed Martin. He's pulling the nomination. And he is appointing on an interim basis someone that is probably very familiar to you. Fox News host Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine. Here it is. Jim Lokay, our friend there at Fox 5 DC, has it. Trump announcing he's nominating Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as U.S. Attorney for D.C. hours after Ed Martin's nomination was pulled. Trump saying this, if we could take it full: I'm pleased to announce that Judge Jeanine Pirro will be appointed interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Jeanine was Assistant District Attorney for Westchester County, New York, and then went on to serve as County Judge and District Attorney, where she was the first woman ever to be elected to those positions. Trump says during her time in office, Jeanine was a powerful crusader for victims of crime. Her establishment of the Domestic Violence Bureau in her prosecutor's office was the first in the nation. She excelled in all ways, Trump says. In addition to her legal career, Jeanine previously hosted her own Fox News show, Justice with Judge Jeanine, for 10 years, and is currently co-host of The Five, one of the highest-rated shows on television. Trump says Jeanine is incredibly well qualified for this position and is considered one of the top district attorneys in the history of the state of New York. She is in a class by herself.
Let me tell you, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for saying that. Let me tell y'all why this makes sense, right? Because a lot of people on the left will look at this and say, I can't believe it. They're bringing up another Fox host. They think that just because you're on TV or just because you're on a platform or just because you may have a social media presence, that you don't have a career that allowed for you to be able to thrive prior to that. That's not what that means. You absolutely had a career. You were a judge. She was an assistant district attorney for the county over in New York. She went to serve as a county judge. She was a district attorney. She was the first woman ever to be elected to those positions. She fought for victims of crime, all of this stuff, right? So people have careers that establish credibility, which allows for their voice to take on a much more impactful role when they're on TV. They bring experts on that were former prosecutors or former attorneys and former judges and all of this stuff. So just because you're on TV or because you're a co-host or a host of a show on TV or on Fox News, that just shows that you have more of a conservative perspective, which is something that I can appreciate personally. Does not mean that you are not a very, very good person and a great pick for a district attorney or DC prosecutor. She is very much qualified. A lot of times I was reading the comments because I was looking at both the difference between what was happening as far as the announcements on Fox News versus what was happening on ABC and MSNBC. And it just shows you how ignorant people are. People are very ignorant, very, very ignorant. They don't know no better. I can't believe it. They're putting in a TV personality. No, you're putting in a person that has a litany of experience, but they also host a show now because they're no longer doing some of the things that they used to do. But it doesn't mean that they're not more than qualified for the job that they're being nominated for. She's qualified. Clearly, she's qualified. And so when I see people on the left a lot of times saying the things that they say, it's very interesting to me. It is very interesting to me because I know that they don't know what they're talking about. Look, I'll share it with you, for example. If you go over here on CBS, and it says Trump taps Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as an interim top federal prosecutor. And you go in and they say he won't stop until he hires the whole Fox News. What a joke. And then you look at it and it got 159 likes as a result of it. Someone changed his name to the TV channel or the Discovery Channel, HGTV. Stupid. Maybe my cat can be the new AG after Bonnie quits, and then they hit the like. When will he appoint Homer Simpson and realize he's a fictional animated character? I saw this and I thought that it was a joke. People, honestly, people will sit there and criticize. They won't go through and talk about what it is that you've done, what you've accomplished. I don't even know if any of these people even know her background whatsoever. They don't know her background whatsoever at all whatsoever. But in addition to that, I also want to share something else with you guys because I want to make sure that we cover multiple different things. Also, over on Bloomberg Television, they were asking Trump some questions inside the White House yesterday, as a matter of fact. And one of the things they were asking him was about the market and Jerome Powell and everything like that. So Trump was saying that we need to start buying stocks now, which is one of the reasons why we have to have a new stock club coming up. Very, very so.
The Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. President, says that you would have to call him for a meeting. Do you plan to meet with him? And what do you think about?
And it's like talking to a wall. He should be.
The Bank of England cut.
Well, the Bank of England cut, China cut, everybody's cutting but him. It's I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a shame. I call him Too Late. Too Late Powell. That's his nickname, and it's a shame. It's ridiculous. So meeting, he's always too late. But in this case, it's not going to matter that much because our country is so strong. We're so powerful in terms of economic strength and what we've done. And I'll tell you what, if we didn't have our first term, you wouldn't be. We created things in the first term. We cut more regulations than any president in history. We cut the taxes more than anybody in history. And a very big factor is going to be the tax bill that we have right now, the one big beautiful bill, as we call it, which is all encompassing, the biggest tax cuts ever in history, and bigger than even the first time. And the incentives, even great for the UK, because it'll make us so strong that we're going to be doing more business with you. It's a very important element for taxes, for every aspect, regulation cuts. That bill is, I believe it's the biggest bill of its kind ever in the history of this country. And Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune have done an incredible job. I mean, I'll let you know we have to get a vote, but we have a lot of support for that bill. And if that happens on top of all of these trade deals that we're doing, this country will hit a point that you better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that.
So that piqued my ears personally when he said that you better go out and buy stocks now. And he did it on the heels of talking about Jerome Powell and how he wasn't doing a rate cut. Now, a lot of people don't understand that of how money works and why they had raised the rates in the first place. One of the reasons that they raised the rates, amongst many, but one of the main reasons that they raised the rates was because inflation was high and they was trying to get it to tamp down inflation. Inflation is only at about 2.3%, which is almost perfect. All right. It's almost at 2.3%. With these new deals starting to come into play, because a lot of people were criticizing Trump and they were saying, well, he got these tariffs. How come he doesn't have a deal on the table? Well, he had to create the framework and then get a deal with the UK first. And then it's going to be a waterfall effect. And then you're going to see a boom in the market. You've seen the impact that this announced trade deal with the UK had on the stock market the minute that he announced it, or the minute that he even said that he was going to announce something huge. And so Jerome Powell needs to cut rates so that he can make money easier to borrow. And then we can get the economy really stimulated and booming.